Thanks everyone that's here for joining. It really means a lot to us. A webinar is to cover our new email we've worked on for the last 6 months. So really excited to show you what we've built and give you some tips and tricks to help you master it. So just to get started, I'll give you, it's not going to be the longest webinar for people that are new to SmarterMail who've joined in the last week or so. I'll just give a quick 1-minute overview or 2-minute overview of who we are. Then I'll get into why we built the new composer, what's changed, along with a demo of the composer on what's changed, a brief overview of what's next on the roadmap related to the composer. And then there's 5 minutes at the end for Q&A. So you can ask questions beforehand as well in the chat or in the Q&A section on Zoom now. And our team's online as well as other panelists. So they can answer it during the webinar, or we can just answer it at the end together so everyone can hear. So yeah, just who are we? So SmarterMail is the easiest way to send emails that delight your customers and get sales. Our founders started Blue Thumb, which is Australia's largest online art marketplace. And during that, they found that as a small team with limited time and resources, there wasn't really an email tool that was a good fit for them. There was basic tools like MailChimp or other tools at the time that you couldn't really do the, I guess, advanced stuff you needed to do for e-com to get sales. Or there was really enterprisey tools like eMarsis that were just way out of budget, and they didn't have the skills or even the time to actually dig their teeth into a tool like that. So that's where SmarterMail came out of, and we try to be the easiest tool for the majority of merchants. We integrate with Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and for the Australians here, Neato, and also with other tools like Just Uno, Privy, Facebook ads. So it's just a one-click install. We start pulling in your products, orders, and start tracking your customers. And what you're able to do is send really easy to use and a lot of automated emails based on that data as well. So yeah, that's it for us. Yeah, I think it looks like most of you know who we are already, so let's get into it. So why did we build the new composer? If you've been with us for a while, you know that it's probably our most requested feature and improvement, and almost all the features we build are based on your feedback and what you want as our users. So we caught up last year, just reviewed all the feedback and tried to plan what our bigger projects were this year, and overwhelmingly it was to improve the composer. So yeah, we set out on it, and it's been a project that we worked on in 6 months, and we've a lot of the team has worked on it as well. At first we had tried to kind of rework the old composer to add new features to it, but because of kind of this layout here, it was really hard to add new settings and give you more flexibility. As things would get cut off, they'd get hidden, and we'd build them, and not a lot of people would use them because they'd be hidden under tabs or other under settings. So we've just decided to rebuild it from scratch. It gives us a lot more flexibility to add a lot more features, and it gives us a lot of the ability to add more blocks and styling elements as we go, and they'll all be above the fold. So if it is really important and we want a lot of our users to use these styling tools, that they'll see them right away. So I'll just quickly overview some of these new features just through slides, and then I'll get into them to show you how they work. So like I mentioned before, there's a new layout. So previously how all the buttons were on the right side, and you could add elements from there as well as columns. We've moved that all over to the left side in this little modal that will expand when you open it. And you can add all your blocks from there, and then you'll also edit text on the left side, which we called the preview side before, right in the email rather than on a field on the right. We've added spacing sliders, so for some of our users, they really wanted more or even less white space. So to make everybody happy, we created sliders, so you can choose the vertical and horizontal white spacing. It's more margins on your emails. And soon we'll also introduce one for horizontal padding too, which will help with your text blocks. New layouts. So previously our captions were on the right-hand side of all product images or image plus caption images. There was actually already a vertical layout, but like I mentioned, it was pretty hidden and not a lot of users were using it. So we introduced all new layouts for placing your caption on the right, left, bottom, or top of your product or image plus caption images. And later on this year, we'll also include the ability to change the percentage or the caption width that the caption takes up of that block. So yeah, now I'll go into a bit of a demo on how it all works. So to access the composer, it's the same as always. You can go through your automations or you can go through your manual emails, which is your newsletters. And you click new email and you'll be dropped into the composer. So to get started, you can just give your email a name and set a subject line. Preview text is that little snippet of text after your subject line that appears in inboxes. And the next step is to choose a template. If you only have one template, this picker won't be there. But if you have multiple, you can choose that here. And if you're new to SmartML, your template is kind of like your design presets, and that's set up in the design page here. So you can set your fonts, colors, buttons, logo, and that will apply across all your emails. So next time you go to send one, you don't have to do all that basic stuff, and you can just plug in the content. So after you choose a template, you need to choose a layout. So the layout will place your content blocks. We'll introduce some new layouts later too with this new composer. But if you don't want to choose a layout, you can also choose any of your old emails to just recreate as drafts. Then you can just switch out the content, which is what most people do. But if you're new, just choose a layout. For this one, I'll choose the announcement layout. Like I mentioned before, to add blocks to your emails, rather than cut on the right side, it's moved to this left side. If you're recreating as a draft, it might not be expanded, so you can just expand it by clicking on the arrow or add new section. So this is a column picker. So before you choose the blocks you want to add to your email, you need to choose how many columns you want them to appear in. So if I wanted to create a 2-column products row like this, just have to press 2 columns and then product. And then those 2 blocks will appear and I can put in the content. I'll just delete these ones for now as there's already some there. And when I choose that content, for product blocks, we've also added just your best sellers and recently added products to make it a bit quicker. But as always, you can just search for a product and add it automatically. I'll actually just choose the socks for now and choose them here as well. So all the content has moved, or content editing has moved to the left side. Like the old composer, if you want to style any text, all you have to do is highlight it, and this editor will come up where you can make the text bigger, smaller, change the color, etc. One change that is coming is that this will soon be persistent and have a lot more styling things that you can add, like inline line heights and fonts and everything. So that'll be pretty cool, and we're really excited to release that as well. But yeah, for now, you just need to highlight. And then rather had the old composer, you'd always have to drag blocks to the position you wanted, which was really hard if you had a long email or if you were working on a small screen. So rather than a drag and drop, all the block positioning just works with these arrows now. So if I wanted to swap these 2 products, all I have to do is press this arrow and then it'll be there. So it's really easy regardless of what browser or what screen size you're on. Then I'll get into the layouts. So this was our standard layout before: product image on the left, content or caption content on the right. So there's new layouts for this. So you can choose left layouts, a bottom layout, which places the caption at the bottom. You can align that too, so it looks a bit better, and resize the image. And there's also a top layout, so if you wanted the caption on top of the product image. Yeah, and then vertical spacing finally. Vertical spacing will play with the margins on your emails. So I'll actually make this button um, fit to text so it looks a bit nicer. So if I wanted to this product block to come up closer to these product blocks, I just have to reduce the vertical spacing here, and I can also do it here too if I really wanted them to come a lot closer. Vertical spacing will work on the individual columns. So if you wanted to do it as a row and you had more than one column, you have to do it on each block. But horizontal spacing, that will work on the entire row. So if I wanted this to maybe be a bit wider or actually a bit smaller, I can do that. That's already a small one, so I'll do a better example. So if I wanted a text block here, this is the new composer. And I didn't want it to be full width because my products like this are narrow. I can just increase the horizontal spacing and it'll do that here. So that's about it of what we've done so far. And now I'll get into what's next. So I briefly mentioned it in the when I showed you that inline editor, but there's a lot more coming to that. So this will be a persistent change as the inline editor right now is a little bit hidden. So you'll be able to change your fonts inline, so it won't just be a global font setting anymore. You'll be able to choose the size, the line heights. You'll be able to add them. It's not in this image, but you'll also be able to add emojis and merge tags as well, which is really helpful if you want to add things like a name or last product purchased or a company name, whatever it is in your emails, to give them more of a personal feel. And there's a lot of other changes coming. So right now, to edit your header and footer, that all happens in your design template. But sometimes you want to make small tweaks, and it's a bit annoying to go back and forth between both pages. So hopefully in the next 4 weeks, you'll be able to edit your header and footer within the composer and make tweaks. Say if you wanted to remove your header links, or you didn't want a logo at all and you just wanted just your content. So that's coming soon. Divider lines, that's a global setting now where you can choose to have divider lines between all your blocks. That'll be removed, and you can choose to add individual divider lines, which look a lot better if you're using, say, an image and then a caption and then a button afterwards. I mentioned it briefly before with caption width. So if you want your caption to take up more of the block on a left or right layout, you'll be able to do that. And later this year, something that's really exciting and really will be cool to merge is our product recommendations. So you'll see some really big changes on that in the next 4 weeks as well. But later in the year, we'll actually merge our product recommendations and our manual emails. So you'll be able to add product recommendation blocks into the emails. So rather than choosing the products yourself, you can send out a newsletter, put in a few smart product blocks, and the products will populate dynamically based on your customer and what they've browsed, purchased before, clicked in emails, and added to cart. And yeah, that's it. So get into a quick Q&A now. You can ask any questions in the Q&A section here or in the chat. You just have to scroll up as well. Okay, no questions so far. So if anything does come up, though, we're all online on the usual chat bubble or live chat. So our team is waiting there. So if anything comes beforehand, or it's just a personal question that you need to ask based on your templates, feel free to ask it there and we can help out. Oh, one, yeah, is the composer live right now? Yes, it is live, and you can use all the functions. There's more features come. Some of the features I chatted about are coming later. In the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll be releasing them, but everything that you saw in the demo is live right now. Okay, last chance for questions. Okay, will old emails still work as new drafts? It's a great question. Yes, so all your old emails will work. There were a few issues with emails created before 2018. I don't assume you'll be recreating those as drafts, but in case you are, there might be small issues. But any emails that you've created in the last few months and you're recreating as drafts, those will be totally fine. Just click create as draft and it'll work. Does it work for mobile? So yes, it does. So what you see in the composer here, if you can still see my screen, is that this is just a general desktop email. But if you click see preview, you'll see the, sorry, my Q&A is blocking it. If you click preview, you'll get to see the preview for desktop and mobile. So as you can see, I remove the vertical spacing here. It doesn't look that great, but mobile is here. And all our emails are mobile first. So any blocks that are 2 columns or 3 columns will automatically make those responsive and into 1 column product blocks. Anything else? Okay. We'll leave it there. If anybody has any other questions, please message us through the normal chat, and Nick and the rest of the team will be happy to help. And for anyone that is new to SmarterMail, and if you haven't signed up yet, just as a thank you for joining us today, if you use the code Composer20, you can get $20 off or a credit back on your first month. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and hope to see you on the app and hear any of your feedback. Thanks.